everyone, welcome back to my channel, Life Under Deborah's Palm, where we are continuing the dream interpretation stuff, and today's subject matter is going to be animals and insects. You know the drill by now if you've watched any of these other interpretation videos, that if you would like the PDF download for free to help you organize your stuff and figure out what your dream symbols mean, you can find that by following the link to my blog and getting the free download, because I don't really know how to do that on YouTube. So without further ado, let's just look at animals and insects, and I will tell you this: look to see if they are in the scripture and what they're doing in the scripture. That's one of the first things. The other thing is, how do you feel about the animals? Do you love dogs, hate dogs, love cats, hate cats? Are you petrified of spiders? Are you allergic to bees? Will a bee sting kill you? This will all come into play in interpreting things. Now, for me, I'll talk about dogs. I happen to love dogs. I own dogs. And whenever I see a dog is always sort of extended family, like a church family. And you know, if we look at how we view our pets, then you know, if you love cats, you may feel that about a cat. If you hate cats, they may come up as less than desirable in your dreams. One of the things I will also say as I go through this, look up. Don't be afraid to look things up on the internet and see specifics about whatever animal or insect that you have had a dream about, just to see. Sometimes you'll catch something and you'll go, oh, I didn't know that, and that's exactly what God is speaking to you. Let's move on to snakes, also known as serpents in the Bible, and I'll lump them a little bit with scorpions as well. But snakes, we first see it says serpent. The serpent was craftier than the rest of the animals in the garden, right out of Genesis, the downfall of man. And now snakes don't bother me, never have. They just don't. I was around them when I was a little kid. I had a friend who had a snake for a pet, and therefore I was never afraid of them. Doesn't mean I'm gonna try to pet a rattlesnake, but in general, they don't freak me out. I leave them alone in my garden. They eat bugs. That's just me. Most people I know chase them with a lawnmower, try and chop their heads off with a shovel, things like that. That's just it. Like I said, they just don't bother me. But that doesn't mean that they can't be bad in a dream. Biblically, if you look at the story of Eve having a conversation with the snake, one of the things that the snake does is he puts stuff in her brain. He's like, well, why can't you eat this? Well, God said no. Did he really say that? See, he was real good at sowing seeds of doubt, and that may be what's going on in your dream. What type of a snake is it? Something in your area, run-of-the-mill garden snake? Or is it something like I'll say a python, something in the python family? They're a constricting type of a snake. Boa constrictors, ball pythons, all of those things. That's how they kill their prey. They slowly choke them till they just squeeze the air and you can't get any air in your lungs. That's really important to understanding what God is telling you in your dream. Is it a venomous snake? Is that how it kills its prey? It just injects the venom. Some snakes are deadly to humans. Some are not instantly deadly. You can get treatment for them. It really all depends, and as I said, you should really look them up and see. Note the colorings and the markings. I've had dreams about snakes that don't actually exist. It was really about the colorings on their skin. Scorpions. I think it's in Luke where Jesus says, I've given you the power to tread on snakes. I think it says serpents and scorpions. Another stinging animal. Scorpions generally do not kill humans, but they're nasty. They are nasty. Every scorpion is venomous. For me, I will tell you this, and I don't understand this at all, but scorpions have something to do in my dreams with drug addiction, and I don't know what. Addiction isn't in my immediate family, but I will see it and I will know that's what the Lord's speaking to me. I don't know why a scorpion, that is the symbol. I wouldn't guess it. I don't know. I've had dreams about crabs. My husband's had dreams about crabs, and for the longest time we couldn't figure it out. And my husband had a dream where the crabs were coming out on a stage. They were standing on their back legs and they had their little claws up and they were going. And he goes, it was kind of humorous in a weird way. We could not figure it out for the longest time, and this was years ago. And then all of a sudden I went, well, duh. It has to do with the constellation, you know, the crab, Cancer, the crab. It was a symbol of Cancer. That being said, Cancer obviously can be literal, but sometimes Cancer is figurative, and we use it in language figuratively. Like we could say, you know, hatred is a cancer, racism is a cancer. It's not necessarily the physical disease. Obviously it can be. Horses. Horses are in the Bible. You know, we all see the movies they've made, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Horses are, like always, it's going to depend. If you were raised around horses, you will see them completely different than me. I think they're beautiful animals that I like to pet, but I don't like to ride. I've been bucked a couple times and it's not for me. What is it about the horse? Horses are horsepower, right? I mean, that's how we determine things in vehicles. What is that meaning for you? How do you view the horse? What is the color of the horse? Do you know specifically what the breed of the horse is? Rodents, and I'll throw raccoons in here. I don't think a raccoon's actually a rodent, but I'll throw in things together that we kind of think of as rodents, like mice and squirrels and rats. I have always found them to be in my dream. They're pilferers. They get in the little spaces. They can ruin your food if you have something stored. You know, they can get in your garden and eat stuff. Same with rabbits. They can get in and munch stuff. They kind of just, sometimes they kill it. Mostly they're pilferers. There's nothing else I can say. They're kind of that little nibbly thing that's going on. Foxes are in the Bible. It says the little foxes spoil the fields. I have had dreams about foxes, and that was the scripture that went with it. And God was saying, you're compromised. You've got these little things. Get rid of the little things before they become a big thing in your life. The last thing I'm going to talk about really quickly, are insects. And I am going to just lump everything in as an insect. So if you are into entomology, you're an entomologist and you're like, that's not an insect. I know. I took entomology. That's why I'm saying it. But things you think of as like, I don't know, grasshoppers and flies and beetles and bugs and all that stuff. A lot of those things do show up in the Bible, and they show up as plagues in Egypt, flies and locusts and things like that. What are they doing in your dream? Again, a lot of them can ruin your harvest. Okay, that's a lot of the issue with insects, is they can ruin food before it's ripe. The flip side of that is there are also some that are very beneficial in your garden. It just depends. I just went through a thing, I think it was last year. I kept sowing these seeds, and I believe they were lettuce and carrot seeds, and the carrot seeds take a minute to come up, but lettuce, it just should have been up, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. And then I realized I had an ant nest in my soil, because it's nice fluffy soil and the ants love it. And what was happening is the ants, if you don't know this, ants can steal the seeds and they store them underground. I had to deal with an ant nest, which didn't completely get dealt with because it just didn't. But what do they do? A lot of this stuff, especially the little things, have to do with pilfering harvests. The one thing I did forget, I'm going to back up just for a second, raccoons. Whenever I see a raccoon, They're a bandit. You know, they've got those little black eye things going on. They're a bandit. They're here to steal. So you kind of get the idea with that. And the last thing I will go back to the insect thing is, as I said, some of them can be beneficial. Some of them do two things. Bees sting. And for some people, they can truly be deadly. People that have allergies, it can kill them. And yet bees make honey. It's sweet. It never really goes bad. It can crystallize, but it doesn't go bad. So there's a lot going on with that. And sometimes it's, where have these things built their home? Are they in a place where they don't belong? Like in your house. Get out into the field, you crummy mice. That's me, because I get them in my basement every year because I live in an area it's like there's fields across the street, and obviously I've got some kind of tiny hole that the darn things keep getting in. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So until next time, have a blessed day.